Marketing is the fuel for sales. A lot of times people will start with some leads and then things get busy and then they pull back on some leads, or worse, things get slow, and in order to help with cash flow, they pull back on their marketing dollars, which is one of the biggest mistakes you could possibly make. Today, I want to teach you the foundation and how to systematize your marketing, because lead sources are going to come and lead sources are going to go. Unless you know these principles, you won't know for a long time that it's starting to fizzle out. Or you might have a lead source that's working really, really well, and you don't realize it because something in sales is off, right? It's all interconnected. So today we're going to talk about systematizing your marketing. All right, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the Moving CEO Scaling Series. I'm Massaro, founder and CEO of Moving Mastery, where we help moving company owners set up proven systems and processes in their business to increase profits, reduce stress, and live a better quality of life. We've been going, this is the 5th day in this 14-day series to scale your moving company. Take what's working and increase it and expand it, right? But before we scale, we need to do a couple of things first. Those of you that have been with us, you already know. First thing we need to do is we need to stabilize, right? Take what's there now and just get it stabilized, right? Right now we're coming out of moving season. The wheels might feel like they're falling off the bus, and we need to stabilize all that. We need to get things smooth. Then we need to systematize, which we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about systematizing your lead generation, your marketing, so that it's systematic. It doesn't have to be something that's up and down, right? Then once we have that stuff in place, then we can scale. And the reason and why I'm doing this is because I know coming out of moving season, people are on that high of like, wow, man, I'm so busy. We're crushing it. Let's go and expand and do this in multiple locations. Let's start franchising. Let's scale up, which is great, right? I help companies do that all day long, but we just need to make sure we hit those first 2 steps first, right? We need to stabilize, we need to systematize, then we're going to scale. So right now we're still in the systematize portion of this series, this 14-day series. This week, we're going to be getting into systematizing your marketing, your sales, your operations, customer service, accounting. Then we'll start to get into scaling, what it takes to actually grow, open multiple locations, become a hometown dominator, get into different lines of moving, different types of moving. Whatever it is scaling is for you, it's different for everybody, right? There's many paths. We'll talk about that. There's many paths and ways to do it and make money. A lot of people say, Louis, what's the best way to make money? And it depends, right? We'll talk about some of that later on in the week or possibly into next week. So today we're talking about systematizing your lead generation. This is so important because, a lot of times people will start with some leads and then things get busy and then they pull back on some leads, or worse, things get slow, and in order to help with cash flow, they pull back on their marketing dollars, which is one of the biggest mistakes you could possibly make, right? In other words, if you're running out of fuel, right, you don't stop getting fuel. You need more fuel to keep going, right? The problem is we don't know what's working and what's not working. That's the biggest obstacle, right? That was my biggest obstacle. When I started, marketing was pretty easy. I put a yellow page ad in and the phone rang. Did some direct mail, did some other things, started to build up, and it was pretty easy. But then 2007, 2008 comes around, and the smartphone comes out. That's how I remember it. That's kind of the time frame the smartphone comes out. More people start shifting and doing their searches for services online, and less people are going to the yellow pages. And at that time I was spending about $250,000 a month. $250,000 a month between all my locations just in yellow pages. And now it's not working as well as it was, right? The calls aren't coming in the way that they were because not everybody's going there. And so in that time period, I had to go on a mad dash scramble to really learn marketing, right? To learn what it's all about. I had to learn about SEO. I had to learn about leads. I had to learn about pay-per-click. I had to learn about direct response, everything about marketing, because I had this business that I had built, locations nationwide. At that point, we were doing long distance and storage in all of those locations. And it was kind of do or die at that point. It was like, wow, we're spending this money. We're not getting the results we need to make something happen. So I literally took myself to school and learned everything I could about marketing. I hired companies. I went to seminars. I read books. I did everything that I could possibly do. And, you know, in that time, it allowed me to diversify my marketing. It allowed me to pull back the money that was being spent all in one place. My eggs were all in one basket. And from that, it really left me in a vulnerable spot, right? So I had to start diversifying. And some of the things I'm going to share with you today, these are real principles behind moving. You know, a lot of times people will say, you know, Lewis, what's the hot lead source? What should I be using right now? What's that hot lead source? And for me to give you that and not give you the principles behind marketing is like, you know, me just giving you a stock tip here and there. Maybe some win, maybe some lose, maybe they go up, maybe they go down, but you have no idea about the game of investing. And so today I want to teach you the foundation and how to systematize your marketing, because lead sources are going to come and lead sources are going to go. Meaning there'll be something really hot today, but tomorrow it might not be that hot. But unless you know these principles, you won't know for a long time that it's starting to fizzle out, right? It's starting to not be good. Or you might have a lead source that's working really, really well, and you don't realize it because something in sales is off, right? It's all interconnected. And so, you know, my philosophy with this whole thing is sales is what makes it happen. Marketing is the fuel for sales, right? Marketing is what just gets them to the door. Then you need to take them from there, provide them that estimate, lead them by the hand to do business with your company. And too many times I see people blame the marketing. Those leads suck. Those leads suck. I tried those. They don't work. Do the leads not work, or is there a broken sales process? Tomorrow, we're going to talk about your sales process, so this all ties together. But today, I want to give you what you need to do to systematize your marketing, so there's no more ups and downs. There's no more guesswork. There's no more feeling like I'm not a marketer. I need to hire a marketing company. Once you understand these principles, maybe you hire a marketing company the same way that you hire a dispatcher to do something that you know how to do, but you're choosing to delegate that out. But you're not hiring a marketing company because you're like, I have no idea what's going on. Please save me. Please rescue me. That's the worst feeling to be in. The worst feeling. So today we're going to talk about systematizing your marketing, what you need to do. Hope you guys got your pen, paper ready to go. All right, so let's get into this. First thing, right? The first foundational piece of all your marketing is ROI-based marketing. ROI-based marketing. ROI stands for return on investment. Return on investment. We need to shift marketing in our minds from thinking social media, commercials, you know, billboards to no. Marketing all boils down to numbers on a report, to a spreadsheet, to numbers in your CRM. It all boils down to what's the return on the investment. If I spend $10,000 with this company for leads or for marketing or whatever marketing services, what's my return for the money that I spent? If I spent $10,000 and I get back $100,000, okay, what percentage of my revenue of the $100,000 did I spend to get that business? In this case, it would be 10%, right? The amount that you spend in order to get business is the magic metric that you need to be looking at for marketing. Okay. So if you did, 100,000 in business and you spent, $7,000 to get that business from a particular lead source, you spent 7%, right? Your goal is to keep all your marketing under 10%. Now that's obviously it's a little bit different for everybody. Some people could afford to go a little bit more. Some people can't afford to go more than that because, they have other fixed costs in their business. We only have 100% of the pie, and some people have got a really expensive warehouse lease without the storage revenue, unfortunately, to cover it, right? Or they've got, 3 extra employees in the office that maybe they don't really need. Others keep it really lean, right? Really, really lean. Their expenses are low. And so rule of thumb, without me looking at your P&L, keep it under 10%, okay? So you could do this with a spreadsheet. You could do this, my software, Smart Moving, gives you this report every month, looks at exactly each individual lead source and exactly how it's working for you, right? Everything in your marketing needs to be based on this. So before you go and start calling for, because maybe you cut off some marketing because it was so busy in the summer, right? And now you're going to start looking to bring on more lead sources, more opportunities to generate business. Make this your first priority, okay? Figuring out how to get the ROI number for each individual marketing source. Once you have that down, that's the foundation. That's it. That's the baseline right here. Everything. Without this, listen, you might hear from someone else, oh, I use this lead source, it works. I use that lead source, it works. Different lead sources work better than others in different cities and at different times. Meaning, somebody might be in Cincinnati and somebody might be in San Diego. And this guy tells this guy, hey, I'm using this lead source, and he tries it out and it doesn't work for him. Or somebody's using that lead source for local moves, somebody's using it for long distance, it works in one, it doesn't work in the other. Or, these lead companies, when I say lead company, it could be third-party lead providers, all the way to Yelp, all the way to direct mail, all the way in between. Okay, anything to generate leads. They can work differently at different times of the year. And they could be really good and then lose their effectiveness, because all a lead company that's selling you leads is doing is they're out there trying to get eyeballs on them from people that are moving so they can capture that lead and sell it to you. So sometimes they're doing a really good job of it. Sometimes Google changes some algorithms, they dip down. There's a lot that goes into that. But if you're not watching this number, you're not going to know. You may get a lead source in the first month. You're like, man, this thing is killing it, right? And then your mind is like, that's the best lead source, and you don't look at it again. But meanwhile, a few months later, it starts going down, right? And you wonder what's happening. It takes a while to catch up to that. It takes a while to, by the time a lead comes in, jobs don't get booked, your cash flow is affected. You could be way down the line before you really start to go, something's up here, something's wrong. And even if you could sense something's wrong, without this, you've got nowhere to go figure it out. You've got nowhere to go look, all right? This starts everything. You need an ROI report, marketing ROI report. Now, how do we manage the marketing? Remember, I want to break this down and kill the stigma of I need to be a marketer. Right? I need to, know how to design something for social media, and I know how to, no, you don't. You need to understand the numbers and then understand what to do about those numbers. That's it. That's it. Right? All your marketing, all you're trying to do is build trust and capture leads. Build trust with what you're putting out there, capture leads, and make sure that it's being done in a profitable way. Okay, so once you've got that report, your next thing to do is test, track, and tweak everything. Test, track, and tweak everything. So what does that mean? That means that when you have a ROI report to run stuff through, right? To go, is it good or is it not good? And you could identify that quick. Everything changes, right? Everything changes. So what you do now is you test everything. If there's a lead source that you've heard of that you know about, test it, try it out, right? Because now you have a method for identifying if it works or if it doesn't work, okay? So you're gonna test it out. Then you're gonna make sure, by the way, your method for knowing if it works or doesn't work is your ROI report, okay? So now you've also gotta make sure that you're tracking all of this, okay? You need a CRM. You know, I would love for you to be on smart moving software, but you wanna track all this, meaning two things. Every call and every lead that comes in to your company, you need to know where it came from, okay? And the days of saying, where'd you hear about us, are over, okay? Because what happens is, people will, I heard about you on Google, and your sales team will say, okay, and they'll put down Google. But what's on Google? When somebody goes to Google, okay, when somebody goes to Google, they can end up in so many places, right? And so where did they really find you? Did they go to Google and end up on your AdWords campaign? Did they go to Google and end up on your Google My Business? Did they go to Google and end up on your organic? Did they go to Google and end up on Yelp? Did they go to Google and end up on a lead provider? You see what I'm saying? Like, we need to know exactly where they came from. So by tracking, you do this two ways. You make sure that every website that you have, like hopefully when you're running your main website, you have your website. And then when you're doing any AdWords or Bing ads or Facebook ads, any type of pay-per-click marketing, you've got a landing page separate. And that landing page is unique to that campaign, right? And on that page, you've got a tracking phone number that that phone number, the only people that ever call that phone number called from that page. When they submit a request for a quote, get a free estimate like you have on your website, when it comes into your CRM, your software, it says that it came from that page. So you could link what came in from that page to what you paid to get that page seen and what your cost per lead was to identify what your ROI is for that particular lead source, right? So you want to have tracking on all of your sites. You want to have tracking phone numbers, right? You want a different phone number on the side of your truck than you do on brochures that you're leaving at apartment complexes. Why? Because when the phone rings, you know where they came from. You're not counting on your sales team to say, oh, where'd you hear about us? That's great at the beginning, right? But if you want to, we're talking about systematizing, right? We're talking about creating a machine that you can like operate, right? It's like, how do I set up a marketing machine that's automated and simple? This is it. This is how we're doing it right now, right? You get your ROI based marketing, you test stuff out, you run it through is it profitable? Yes, great. Spend some more money there. Is it not? Nope. We need to now tweak it. Okay. We need to now tweak it. And so what does tweak it mean? So tweak it means, there's a lot, it's not black and white with the marketing, right? So maybe you get, maybe you're buying leads, you're in a big metropolitan area, right? Let's say you're in South Florida, you're covering Miami, you're covering Fort Lauderdale, you're covering West Palm Beach. And you're buying leads, and in your system, maybe you see that those leads are coming in and, they're not really working the way that you would hope, right? They're not meeting your metric number that you need them to meet. And so you might be quick to just cut them off. But before you do that, maybe you need to separate out the 3 different counties, because maybe one's working really good and the other one's not working really good, right? Or Maybe you're buying local and long distance leads. They're all mixed together, and you're you're judging them and basing it on everything. You might need to separate that. Or maybe you've got a postcard campaign. Maybe your postcard needs to be tweaked. Maybe the copy on it, what's written on it, needs to be updated. Maybe the pictures need to be updated. Maybe your calls to action need to be updated, right? Maybe you've got pay-per-click campaigns going to landing pages, and maybe you need to update those and do some A/B testing to kind of see what's going on with that, right? We're talking about systematizing here so you could scale. So if anybody's like, Lewis, this seems like a lot, okay. There's work involved, but I'm telling you the steps to do it. But once it's set up, that's it. Like once it's set up, everything that we learn when we first learn it sounds overwhelming. To go back to riding a bike, right? How many times do you fall, scrape your knee, bump your head, do all that when you're riding a bike? Felt super scared to do it. Now, it's nothing. Think about all the stuff when you first started your business. Oh man, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? You figure it out, right? You figure it out. It's having a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset of saying, man, that's hard, I'm not going to do it. It's no, that I haven't learned how to do that yet. Once I learn how to do that and I do it a few times, right? I'll get more competent at doing it. As I get more competent, I'm going to get more confident, right? In psychology, it's called the competence-confidence loop. You get more competent, you get better at something, you become more confident. If you become more confident, you'll go and learn how to do it more. It's like, oh yeah, I'm good at this. I'm good at this. We all like doing stuff that we're good at, all right? You learn and implement this stuff, you'll never have to worry again about, oh man, there's this new type of marketing. Oh my, what? There's these new leads. Oh no, and feel overwhelmed. No, you run it through your system, right? And you'll know right away. You try it out, you track it, you tweak it, you make some adjustments, and that's it, okay? Next thing is you want to automate and systematize your repeats, your referrals, and your reviews. Your repeats, your referrals, and your reviews. Your repeat customers, your referral customers, and the reviews that you get. This is not something to just leave up to chance, right? This is something that needs to be cultivated. It needs to be systematized. And it needs to be given attention and focused on, right? But you could automate this whole thing. Repeat referral customers with, automation. Smart Moving helps with a lot of this. To be able to get more repeat customers, get more referral customers, get more reviews. The biggest thing you could do to combat any negative reviews, right? Because most people, without being asked, don't really go and post, great reviews. You might have a lot of great reviews, but I bet you have a lot more customers that had a great experience with you. If we went up with a mic and asked them, how was it? Right? You'd have 10 times more people that were happy with your service than, probably more than that, than actually went and posted a review. So that's why we need to be proactive. We need to ask them. We just want to systematize this, right? We just want to get it in a system to where you've got a checkpoint at the move where you're going after the review. You've got automation that happens with your CRM with text messages and emails and phone calls and all that that's helping to get that review after the fact, right? You've got automation for the customer service. If somebody says, hey, we weren't really happy with the move. We'll talk about that in a couple of days when we get to customer service. But, and the same thing for referrals. When I started my moving company, I had the Yellow Page ad, and then I went and pounded the pavement. I went from apartment complex to real estate office, walked in trying to round up business, okay? It worked great until I got busy and I stopped nurturing those people. and it all fell off, right? And I know there's people on this right now that's happened to them, because I talk to so many moving company owners every day, and it's a common thing. It's we're like, okay, we get fired up. Yeah, let's get some brochures. We're going to do this. Let's go. We're going to, buy this real estate office lunch, and we're going to talk to them about something, and, all great intentions. But the referral program is not systematized, meaning it's something that is just loosely thought about and hasn't been completely from start to finish thought through and automated, right? This is the triple R compound effect. If you understand investing and know about compound interest, I won't get into it here, you could look it up, but compound interest, okay, when you spend money on marketing, and now for every one of those jobs, you're getting a repeat customer, referrals, 5-star reviews. You're compounding that money that you spent on marketing. The more money that you get from repeat and referral customers that essentially you're paying zero for, right? Your overall ROI percentage starts to go down. And you know what happens when your ROI percentage goes down? Your profits go up. From there, your money goes up, right? From there, you could hire the people you need. From there, you could live the life that you want to live, all right? You see how this all comes together? So important. You've got to automate your repeats, your referrals, and your reviews. All right, so next, with systematizing your marketing, we've got, make sure you got your ROI-based marketing, right? That's the foundation. Once you have the foundation, you manage it by testing, tracking, tweaking. Then you automate, right? This extra stuff that's going to help compound every dollar you spend. Then from there, put all your focus on sales. It's very common. Louis, those leads suck. Louis, those leads don't work. Louis, I tried this. I tried that. Okay, let's look at your sales process. Walk me through it. If you spent more time, energy, focus establishing a real sales process, it'll transform everything. People say, Louis, how'd you go from zero to $20 million a year in business? Sales. That's it. From early on, I sat, I built my script, I figured out what to say when they said they're not ready to move with me yet. Then when I built my team, right, I had over 60 people on the phones. How is that possible? Because there's a process behind all of it, right? So, the marketing is good, but if you could have the best fuel in the world, but if you're putting that fuel into a beat up Datsun, you're not getting very far, right? Let me give you an example on this marketing here. So I had a client, a private client, who I met at one of my events. And when I first met with him to figure out like what he wanted to do, he was like, I was like, how much money do you want to make personally? He's like, well, I want to make $100,000 a month. And he just said it in a way that was like, yeah, okay, Louis, like, if you're asking, if you're going to act like you're the genie that could grant me my wish, this is what I want. I'm like, okay, cool. Wrote it down. And so we started to dive in on the fundamentals. So as we're going through his financials, as we're going through his information, I see he is spending $50,000 a month in marketing. $50,000 a month in marketing. He was doing $3 million a year. So obviously those numbers aren't where they need to be, right? You're talking about, what is that, 20%? Yeah, I think 20%. If I'm off, I would use my calculator, but it's on Instagram right now as the phone. 20%. So then we went in, we got his marketing ROI on point, which is what I'm talking to you about. So we could see clearly, we could diagnose the problem. Why are we spending so much and not booking enough? to compensate for it. And we went in and we stripped away $25,000 a month worth of marketing. So we took his marketing from $50,000 a month to $25,000 a month, but reallocated it. Like, okay, no, look, that's working really well. Let's take the money we're taking from here. Let's put it there. Let's get rid of this, right? And so we start making these adjustments. He went from $50,000 a month in advertising spend to $25,000 a month in advertising spend. He was at $3 million a year in business, gross revenue. He went to just about $6 million a year with half the budget. Now, part of that was we worked on a sales process as well, okay? But the point is, you know, we can't just blindly throw money at marketing and pay and pray, right? Like, we can't do that. We need to manage it. We need to systematize it.
Hey, my friend, before you go, you've got to hurry and watch these next few videos over here. They will absolutely help you take your moving company to the next level. Go watch them now, and I'll see you over there.